So Jack was always a grumpy and often mean-spirited guy, until one day when a knock on his door changed everything. There stood a little old lady, her station wagon parked outside Jack's house. "Yes?" Jack muttered as he cracked open the door. "It seems I have a flat tire," the little old lady smiled. "I was wondering if you wouldn't mind helping me change it." Without hesitation, Jack slammed the door. "I'm busy, so ask one of the neighbors," he hollered as he retreated back inside. But the little old lady didn't leave. Instead, she turned toward his doorbell camera, muttering a strange riddle. "Tomorrow, when you wake, you'll see the same day as today will be. For this curse I place upon your clock is one only kindness unlocks." Without another word, the little old lady disappeared into thin air. "What an old kook!" Jack exclaimed, forgetting all about her until the very next morning when he woke up to his neighbor, Thomas, dragging his metal trash cans up the driveway. Strange, Jack thought. Garbage day was yesterday. He made sure to open his window and give Thomas a piece of his mind. Fortunately, Thomas didn't have his hearing aids in, so he teetered up his driveway undisturbed as he headed indoors. It wasn't until Jack checked his watch that he realized something was very, very wrong. It was still Tuesday. Despite everything happening exactly as it had the day before, Jack played it off, trying not to think of the little old lady's curse. But the very next morning, there Thomas was again, dragging the loud metal trash cans up the driveway. This time, Jack stepped out onto his front porch to make sure Thomas saw him, shouting even louder than the day before. But Thomas only waved, proceeding up the driveway and indoors. With each repetitive day, Jack's frustration with Thomas only grew until one morning when he had had enough. On this Tuesday, he stormed across the street, fists clenched as he confronted Thomas. But to Jack's surprise, Thomas seemed disoriented, unable to understand what the fuss was all about. Jack chalked it up to stubbornness, allowing the same scene of frustration to play out day after day. It wasn't a pleasant start to each Tuesday, but Jack didn't care. For him, it was a way to vent in light of the little old lady's unbreakable curse. But over time, Jack began to notice a recurring pattern with Thomas. A vacant stare, a cloud of confusion, and a distant aura about him. Slowly but surely, his contempt grew into concern. Jack had lost his mother to Alzheimer's earlier that year, and seeing Thomas in this condition was a stark reminder. Curse or not, Thomas was in a loop of his own. And so, on this particular Tuesday, Jack decided to make a change. He turned his morning trash can vent sessions into an opportunity to get to know Thomas. They had been neighbors for years, yet rarely spoke. Eventually, Jack found himself setting up signs around his neighbor's house to aid in his memory. The two would go on walks together, and eventually, Jack even started getting the trash cans for Thomas. Curiously, no 2 days with Thomas were exactly alike. Despite no recollection of any of the preceding Tuesdays, Thomas appeared to be getting to know Jack better and better with each passing day. He also seemed to be growing more aware, more present, and more focused, as if Jack's kindness was seeping through the veil of his condition. Then, one morning, Jack slept in by mistake. At this point, he had been getting the trash cans every day. But if he didn't, Thomas surely would. It was just that this morning, there was pure silence. As Jack checked his watch, he was shocked at what he saw. Wednesday. That's when he noticed an alert from his doorbell camera. There, on the recording from midnight, stood the little old lady. "Kind is what kind does," she smiled. "Consider the curse lifted, but never forget the new friendship you've been gifted." Now a changed man, Jack continued to watch over Thomas, driven not by the curse, but by genuine compassion. Because sometimes, help often comes from the hand you least expect, even when you're stuck in a loop.